The anime's story begins by showing two students from the Alzano Royal Magic Academy. Their names are Rumia and Sistine. On their way to school, they meet a strange man named Glenn Radars. Sistine attacks Glenn. When Sistine arrived at school, there was a stone teacher at their school. But the teacher came too late. It turns out that Glenn is the new teacher in their class. The students became angry with Glenn. Then the lesson begins. Glenn told his students to study on their own. While Glenn sleeps, all the students got angry with Glenn. The teachers also protested to the principal about Glenn. According to him, Glenn was not worthy to be a teacher. But apparently Glenn got a recommendation from Celica, who is one of the strongest magicians in the world. The next day, Glenn continued to teach nonchalantly. His students became angry with Glenn. And Glenn ran away. The next day Glenn still told his students to study on their own. An enraged Sistine challenges Glenn to a magic duel. They will have a match between shock bolt magic. Glenn has lost in this match. Glenn ran away. The next day, even though he had previously lost, Glenn still told his students to study on their own. During the break, Glenn met Rumia, who was studying magic. Glenn gives a little trick to Rumia. Rumia was very surprised by Glenn's ability. The next day Glenn surprisingly apologizes to Sistine for his actions. All the students were surprised to hear Glenn's words. Glenn also said that all his students were stupid. Glenn showed me another version of the shock bolt that wasn't described in the textbooks. Glenn was able to turn shock bolts into extraordinary magic. All the students were shocked to see Glenn's ability. All the students are now interested in Glenn. Because of the extraordinary way of teaching, Glenn became a very popular teacher at school. Students from other classes also joined Glenn's class. The scene shows all the teachers going to an event. And Glenn is in charge of looking after the school. And Celica said that tomorrow all the teachers will not attend because there is a meeting. So Glenn is in charge at school. But suddenly a group of criminals came to the school. The criminals kidnapped Rumia, because Rumia is a princess. The criminals also kidnapped Sistine. Glenn showed incredible magic. And Glenn managed to beat the baddies with ease. Glenn manages to save Sistine. But Rumia is still with the criminals. It is known that the criminals come from an organization called the Sky Policy Organization. Glenn suspects that a teacher has betrayed him. Suddenly the enemy's ghost army appeared attacking Glenn. Glenn and Sistine managed to defeat the enemy. But Glenn's stamina was drained. Then came one of the deputy leaders of the enemy. The power is very strong. Due to his stamina being exhausted, Glenn was unable to defeat that person. Because of the cooperation of Glenn and Sistine, the two of them finally managed to defeat the enemy. And now they both have arrived at Rumia's place. It turns out that the teacher named Huey betrayed. Glenn tries to save Rumia. Glenn managed to beat the Huey. All of the villains end up losing. Rumia is safe. Their school is now safe from enemy attacks. The scene shows the queen of the Alzano kingdom named Queen Alicia. Queen Alicia is Rumia's mother. Queen Alicia and her bodyguard named Zelos will witness the magic competition at the academy. The scene shifts as Glenn is preparing his students for a magic competition. Glenn really wants his students to win, because he will get a lot of prize money when he wins this competition. While the students were practicing, Glenn's students made a fuss with the other classes. The class was led by a teacher named Mr. Haley. That's why Glenn challenged Haley's class. They both agreed to compete by betting their wages for 3 months. The students were enthusiastic and serious about practicing. The magic competition has finally begun. Queen Alicia opened this competition. Glenn's class tried their best. Thanks to Glenn's suggestion, they managed to win easily.
騎士は勇気を胸とし真実のみを語る
Rumiya competed in the magic endurance competition. Although underestimated, Rumiya finally managed to win. Queen is very happy to see Rumiya win. The scene shows there are two people named Albert and Riel. They are on a special mission. They were monitoring Zelos who was acting suspiciously. They suspect that the queen's bodyguard named Zelos will hurt the queen. While resting, Rumiya ate together with Glenn. Then the queen came there forth. And it is known that Glenn is a former member of the Royal Court of Magic, where only the best magicians in the kingdom can enter the group. Queen wants to talk to Rumiya. But Rumiya immediately left. It turns out that Rumiya and Ratu have a bad relationship. After talking to Rumiya, the queen was caught by Zelos. Albert and Riel saw what happened. When Glenn was with Rumiya, the royal soldiers try to catch Rumiya. Glenn tries to take care of Rumiya. The soldiers continued to chase Glenn. Glenn tried to contact Celica for help, because Glenn couldn't fight together with Rumiya, but Celica was also held back by the enemy so Celica couldn't use her powers. Glenn finally met Albert and Riel who were his old friends in the Royal Magic Court unit. Glenn asks Albert and Riel for help to look after the students in Glenn's class. Meanwhile, Glenn took Rumiya away. Now Albert is Glenn's temporary class tutor. And the competition resumed. Glenn's class continues to perform well under Albert's tutelage. Now comes the final match. Sistine became the representative of Glenn's class. Sistine struggled with all her might. In the end, Sistine won. And Glenn's class won this competition. During the distribution of gifts, Glenn tries to save the queen. Glenn and Albert switched places by using illusion magic. Because of Glenn's magic, Queen and Celica managed to be free from her magic Zelos. Celica used her magic to protect the residents. Glenn fights against Zelos. Glenn finally won. The Queen was very happy to be reunited with Rumiya. Albert and Riel investigate the mastermind behind this incident. It turned out to be a birthday from a magician named Eleanor. Eleanor's goal is to find the legendary book called Akashic Records. But Eleanor managed to escape. After everything is finished, Albert and Riel return to their base. The queen also returned to the palace. Glenn and his students celebrate the victory. This video ends here. Thanks for watching this video. If you like it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support me.